Okay, so today is December 3rd, 2015, and in this meditation, we're going to go back to the Pacific Ocean, and we're going to lend her a bit of our energy that she's going to use then to help maintain herself. And it's important in any relationship. What we've been developing is a relationship with the Pacific. And it's important in any relationship to stay in touch and to offer love and support and go to visit now and then. So today we're going to do that. And we will also do a little bit of work to round up some of the radiation again. Okay? So we're going to start out by doing a little healing work on ourselves. And this meditation will be a little bit longer than the last one. But I think it's fairly intense. So just get yourself comfortable and be aware that, it's really good to do a little bit of work on yourself first, because the sick can't generally heal the sick. And so we're going to go through the body, relax and heal, and then go to the ocean. So get yourself comfortable. And we always begin with these 3 deep, slow breaths that completely fill the body. You focus your attention on your feet and breathe in all the way so that you literally feel that breath down in your toes. And do 3 of those deep breaths. Completely fill the body. And then when you're done, just breathe at your own natural pace. But go back to focusing your attention on your feet. Become aware of both feet, right and left. And especially on the sole at the bottom of the foot. That whole area, kind of slide up over the top of the foot. And then focus on the spaces between your toes. Kind of isolate each toe, feel each toe by feeling the space in between those toes. Pay attention to the toenail sitting on the top of each toe. And then just be aware of each toe hanging at the end of the foot. And thank your toes and your feet for the work that they do. Breathe in slowly and deeply and feel that breath going all the way to your feet. And imagine that you're standing in warm water and you can feel that warmth all the way through your feet. And then completely relax your feet. And then move your attention up the leg, all the way to the knee. Go around to like the soft area behind the knee. And then go right inside the knee to the area of the knee joint. It's a big joint capsule. It's a place where the tibia and the fibula meet the femur. And there's all sorts of cushioning material in there. There should be like this sac, it's called a capsule, that completely surrounds that whole joint, and it should be filled with clear crystalline fluid. So now what you're going to do is manufacture in your imagination a little bitty oil can that's filled with that clear fluid. And if that fluid in your knee is looking like it's cloudy, or there's not enough of it, or, anything looks like it's not perfect, you get out that little oil can and you oil all around the knee, injecting some of that clear fluid in. And in your other back pocket, you have a little tiny piece of sandpaper, or maybe emery cloth, and you're going to smooth out anything in the joint area that isn't just perfectly smooth, so that the knees work perfectly. Right side, left side. And then completely relax the knee. Breathe into the knee. And then the other knee. And then feel that relaxation move all the way down your leg, the calf, down the shin bone, the tibia, all the way to the ankle. Relax that entire lower leg on both sides. And then move your attention up to your thighs. Relax your thighs. Got a big bone in there, the femur. See all of the blood vessels and all the muscles in good shape. If they look stringy, you need more exercise. But move your main attention up to the hip. Left side, right side. You got a big joint capsule there at the hip. So go into the hip and just kind of look around and make sure that there's plenty of fluid in the hip joint. Not too much. If there's too much, draw some off. Suck it out with your oil can. If there's not enough, put some in. Sand off any rough spots so your hip joints work perfectly. And then breathe in deeply into the hips. Feel that all the way across the floor muscles at the bottom of the body. And all the way down the thighs. Breathe in all the way through the knees again, down the leg and into the feet. Now, go back down to the toes for a minute and imagine that on the end of each toe there's a little screw cap, and you're going to unscrew that cap and let all the tension in your legs flow out across the floor. Leave the cap off. And just let that, whatever tension you've had or stresses, let that all just keep draining out down through the legs and out across the floor and disappear. And then go to the bottom half of the body, or the bottom third, actually, the abdomen area. And relax the bladder, not too much. Relax all your reproductive organs. Even if you have had some of them removed or changed or altered in some way, the energetic form of that organ is still there. So relax that. See the small intestines just kind of sink down into the bottom of the body like a big pile of spaghetti. And breathe in, and as you breathe in, feel the diaphragm press down on everything in that lower part of the body. Your entire set of floor muscles, that's part of you that's actually in contact with a chair, should kind of press into the chair when you take a breath, because the diaphragm is pressing down. And be aware that that compression is very, very important for the health of the body, to keep things moving. It's like a little bitty massage that happens with every breath. So take a deep breath, fill the hips, fill the lower part of the abdomen. See everything there working perfectly, beautifully. Feel any tension drain out down your legs, out through your toes, across the floor and gone. And then move your attention to above the waist. And I want you to focus on the right side first, on the liver area. The liver is like this big red thick pancake that somebody sets over their fist and then shoves the fist up underneath the right rib cage. And I want you to just go into that liver, which is red, and gallbladder, which is about the size of your thumb and is a brilliant dark green, just brilliant. And just relax that liver. Relax that gallbladder. Fill it with air, fill it with breath. Let all the tension drain out of that. And then move your attention to your stomach, which is kind of like a wineskin hanging down from right between like where the ribs kind of meet in the center at the bottom of the breastbone. And your stomach starts about there and, kind of slides over for the liver. So relax that stomach. Go into the stomach and look around at the walls. The walls should be very tight knit or tight, shiny, glossy, pinkish red color. And there should be about a teaspoon of fluid, hydrochloric acid, in the bottom of the stomach. So if there is no hydrochloric acid in the bottom of the stomach, you will not get good digestion. So out of your back pocket, pull a teaspoonful of hydrochloric acid and dump it in that tummy if it looks dry. And then send healing energy to the inside of the stomach. And then breathe deeply in and relax the stomach. And then go up into the lungs area. You're up in the upper part of the chest now. The lungs are these amazing pearly white things hanging on either side of your chest. And I want you to just take a little journey through the lungs. The surface of the lungs should be absolutely shiny, white, glossy, and moist. Should not be dry. Take a deep breath and fill those lungs and watch the various cavities kind of fill up and expand. And then breathe out nice and slow. Thank your lungs for what they do and the filtering work that they do. And then relax them and let all of the tension just kind of run out, down through the body, out through the toes. And let the lungs just hang there on either side of your chest. And then go to your heart. Heart is right in the middle, kind of off to the left, just a little. And it's an amazing thing. If you've ever seen a heart, oh my, a living heart, it's got a power that is shocking. Absolutely shocking. So get in a little imaginary boat and go through the heart. And as you do, you want to be checking valves. Do they close all the way? Do they close and open in perfect synchrony, one after the next? Just bing, 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 bing. Are they out of tune or out of rhythm with one another? Do they open too slowly? Make a mental note. And as you move through the heart, thank that heart for what it does. It never rests. Never. Take a deep breath into the heart. And as you do, move through the rest of the heart into the aorta and then into the cardiovascular system. Still in your little boat or your little kayak or your canoe, go through the cardiovascular system and just check as you go along. It's a pretty fast ride because blood is moving about 160 miles an hour. Just poke the wall of the artery. Does it flex? Does it stretch a little? If it doesn't, or if your finger bumps up against something hard, that's hardening of the arteries. That's plaque or hardened cholesterol. And, just make a mental note what condition you're in when you take a deep breath. Do those arteries and veins expand a little? They should. And then relax all of your blood vessels. Watch your capillaries. They go right down to these little tiny, tiny, filaments. And then thank your blood for what it does. Keeps you in balance, carries nutrients, picks up waste, etc., deposits the waste where the waste needs to be, and so on. And then go up into your neck. Relax the lower part of the tongue, which is down in the neck. And then just kind of feel the tongue settle right down into the bottom of the mouth. Try to feel all your teeth just sitting in their jaw or hanging from the upper jaw. And relax your teeth. Then go into the brain itself. Relax your brain. It's an amazing communication center. Picks up and monitors everything going on in the universe. They say we use 10%. We do not. We use the entire thing. But most of what's being monitored is outside the earth. Relax your brain. And then go around to your eyes, your ears, your nose, your lips, your cheeks, your forehead, your chin, underneath your chin. Relax that whole area. Just relax your face completely. And then just before we leave the body, slide down the arms to the hands. When you get down to the hands, I want you to take a deep breath and feel that breath filling your hands and turning those hands into some golden white lights so that they're solid golden white light. We're going to use those hands as we go to the ocean. Okay, now before we go to the ocean, reach down and put the cap back on your toes. We don't want you leaking all over the ocean. And then take another deep, slow breath and imagine that you're leaving your body to go to the Pacific Ocean. And go to an area of the water that you are drawn to. Could be anywhere in that Pacific. And just let yourself hover over the surface of the water. And remember, you have the capacity to breathe easily and deeply, even when you're completely submerged. And then slowly lower yourself until you're floating face up on the surface of the water with the sun shining on your face. And for just a few moments, rest there. Just float. Feel the water around your hair. Feel your hair, with water moving through it. And then reach out with all of your senses to feel how big that Pacific is. She's immense. Her size, her shape. Feel her depth and her warmth. And as you float there, just be aware of the populations that live in her and depend on her, the way we live on the land and depend on the land. And then send a little message. Ask the Pacific if she can feel you floating on her surface. Tell her you're grateful for her presence in your life and that you are coming to visit. And the goal is to help her, to help heal her. Listen or feel for any response. And then very slowly turn over onto your belly and begin to swim slowly, breathing easily. Moving across her face. And when you're ready, take a smooth, even breath as you turn and swim downward, moving easily into the water. So now you're going deeper, just swimming along for a little while. And what I want you to do is notice the fish and the sea creatures. And say hello to those you pass by. And just ask them how they're doing, making a mental note of anything they say, as well as anything you notice about their condition. It's kind of a little reconnaissance swim. As you pass by these creatures, send healing energy from your hands, these golden white, lights that are your hands. You want to send that healing energy to all those creatures if they seem to need it. And continue swimming downward until you get all the way to the ocean floor. Move along the sand, notice the landscape and the characteristics, and continue to move and breathe easily, gracefully through the water. Just noticing the conditions and the general health of everything and everyone you see. And of course, as you go by, send reassurance to everything that help is coming, and love and gratitude to all for being patient as we work to clean up that radiation mess that we spilled into the water. And then from wherever you are, whatever part of the Pacific you went to, begin moving very quickly toward the area between Japan and the west coast of the US, where the radiation is the most concentrated. And when you arrive, kind of tread water at the surface and imagine that everybody in the circle here is forming a circle around the radiation. So some of you will be to the west and some to the north and some to the east and some to the south. A big circle. And when everyone is in place, see yourself stretching out those golden white light hands and just hold them out in front of you. Keep treading water with your hands out. And as you hold those hands out, intend that a great net, like a gigantic fishing net, is beginning to form between everyone's hands, so that each one of you ends up hanging on to the edge of a great net. And see that net continue to take shape and grow until it covers the entire area of radiation. And when it's fully covering all the radiation, and on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, turn and begin swimming toward the bottom of the ocean, pulling that net along with you and dragging all of the radiation down with you. This is a radiation net. We made one before. Keep going until you are on the bottom and the net has settled with all of the radiation inside. And then, just as you've done before, send great waves of love through that radiation. Understand that it is what it is, and you're there to help. And see those radiation particles, all of them, responding, falling in love, attracted to one another, and changing themselves the way love changes everything and everyone it touches, making you sensitive and caring, and bringing your best side forward and wishing all others well. Because true love is wishing another well. See those particles of radiation inside the net completely transformed, devoted to life, and resting quietly on the ocean floor. And then turn your attention to the Great Pacific and see her weeping in relief and laughing in gratitude, and feel her send you a current of warm water in thanks to surround and warm you. Tell her you know it's not a permanent solution, but that you love her and you will return again and will keep returning as long as she needs you, as long as it takes to heal Fukushima. Tell her she's not alone, and that many are working to correct the mistakes we've made in our relationship with Mother Earth. And then tell her it's time for you to go, and you hope she'll be well until you see her again. And then begin swimming back to the area where you first entered the water. And when you get there, turn over on your back and float face up once again. Feel the sun shining on your face. And ask the sun and the earth itself to help keep Taki healthy until all of Fukushima is healed. In other words, you're reaching out to other great consciousnesses, other bodies, and asking for them to help. Thank them for any assistance they can give. And then stretch your hands straight out to the sides from your shoulder. These still are hands of golden white light. And feel huge waves of energy, healing energy, powerful energy flowing out of you and into the water, filling the whole Pacific Ocean. Let that golden white light energy flow for a few moments. And then move your hands over your belly button, your torso, belly button area, and feel that energy flow into you and fill you, just like you just filled the Pacific Ocean, until your whole body is light. It's golden white light. And then very slowly begin to lift up to return to your body. Come all the way back into your physical body. Take a deep, slow breath. And then maybe stretch a little. Make sure you're completely back in the physical. And when you're ready, open your eyes to the world and the room around you. And maybe a little more conversation with the group or ideas, things you noticed or understood while you were in the water. And then thank you. Thank you for your gift of consciousness. May you be blessed in return. I'm closing now.